It's hard to get all my social media at the same time. Hey, Facebook, what's up? I am popping in really quick on a Saturday. Instagram, let me pull you up. And I am going to, so fun things. One of our Meal Mentor members, Gary, everyone who's been a long-term member knows Gary because he's awesome and he's lost over 100 pounds and Gary's amazing. Actually, he just did a video for us, which will be on the website in 2018. But anyway, Gary's amazing. I love him. You can read his Herbie of the Week story on Happy Herbivore. And he was a co-pilot with me on the Meal Mentor podcast, which is different from the Shortcut to Slim podcast. But anyway, Gary is having a holiday party tonight, and we're going because he lives here in LA like us. And he asked me to bring the winter kale salad from this week's meal plan, which is super fun. I always love to contribute to a party, even though I know I'll be able to eat everything at Gary's because it's Gary and he belongs to a mentor, so he's the same as me. But I still love to contribute. And this winter rice salad for the last 2 years has been one of the most popular recipes with our members. It's been the one that everyone has served at Christmas with like great success, or Hanukkah, or whatever holiday they have. It's the dish that everyone was taking to church and to work. Like, you know, everyone has work parties and you have to bring something, and everyone loved it. So this is super omnivore approved. And I have a really cool hack for how I make it, and I really wanted to share that with you. So I figured, well, heck, why not? Happy Saturday. You guys can watch me make the salad, and I can tell you my super duper hack. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is I need to microwave my rice. I actually I'm very proud of myself. Sorry, Instagram, I gotta put you down. I'm very proud of myself. I'm actually cooking rice right here. This is my brown rice, or not my brown rice. The recipe uses wild rice and brown rice. You could just use just all brown rice, but I do like to have the difference of the wild rice versus the brown rice, but I had a blender and I accidentally bought black rice from the bulk bin thinking it was wild rice. So it's going to be black rice and brown rice, but whatever, it's still going to be fabulous. So I'm actually cooking that. I'm not cheating totally with the microwave today. If I could have bought frozen, I would have. Oh, Instagram face planted. Okay. Anyway, so while the black rice is cooking, and it's actually almost done, I'm going to microwave my brown rice. And I'm also going to just kind of do all of the other stuff while I'm waiting for my 2 rices to tell you my secret. So one of the things I am cheating with is my kale. Of course, you know me, cheating in some way, so that's with the kale. I had a little bit of rice left over from earlier in the week, so I'm just going to throw that right here in the bowl, sort of to get this party started. And I'll tell you guys my hack in a second. So the first part of my hack involves my kale. So like I mentioned, I'm using this bag from Trader Joe's because I am a little lazy. And I'm just going to rip this really small with my hands as I'm pulling it from the bag. And I sort of do it like, almost like I'm wringing out a towel. That's the best way I can describe it. But anyway, I'm just making sure that the pieces are definitely smaller. Now you could chop this if you wanted, but like I said, I'm just going to do it with my hands. And I think in the meal plan it says chop really well. But I just rip it really, really, really small. And I also find this softens the kale up a little bit. And for people who aren't too familiar with kale, the less hard it is, the better, because then they don't think it's rabbit food. So I'm just breaking it up really, really well. And also what I'll do is if I find any of these, because sometimes when you buy these bags, you'll get these little hard pieces of stems. I'm going to take that out just because it's not so great in a salad. But yes, I'm just, really sort of, you can sort of see maybe the consistency, just sort of these smaller little bits. But you don't have to get too anal retentive about it because the secret step that I'm about to show you when the rice is done sort of helps with a lot of that. But I do like to make it, like I said, smaller. And this, like I said, also gives me a chance to look for these really big hard stems, which no one wants to eat in their salad. So, or at least my husband doesn't. So, all right. And like I said, just scrunching, 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 tearing, scrunching, tearing. It's great workout for my hands. Finding these big stems. Let's put the rest in there. And I'm using the whole bag because why not? More kale the merrier. Okay, so now that it's all in my bowl, I'm just going to, oh, Facebook, come back to life. I'm just going to keep scrunching it up, you know, keep really tearing it apart like this. And again, this gives me the chance to look and see if I missed any of these really, like, look at this. Like, this would not be good in a salad. This would not be good in a salad. So, now if I pulled this off the stems, then I obviously wouldn't be digging around for stems. So, if you don't buy pre-cut like me, you know, that might actually be easier. All right, so I'm really, like I said, getting this to be smaller, really sort of tearing it up. And now that my rice is done, I can show you guys my big secret. All right, so this is my secret anytime I make a kale and grain salad. Like anytime I do kale and grain salads, this is what I do because I don't want to steam my kale because for me, steamed kale in a salad is too soggy or too wet. It doesn't have the right texture. But I also find that totally raw kale doesn't really work with a lot of omnivores or a lot of people who aren't used to eating our way. Like for me, that raw kale's fine. I love raw kale. And my husband loves raw kale and a lot of my vegan friends and my raw friends, of course, all love raw kale salads. But when I'm feeding like people I don't know or omnivores or people who eat a more traditional American diet, and I don't, like I said, I don't know the kind of people are going to be at the party tonight. But like when I have to take something to like a church potluck or something, you know, I just don't know who's going to be there or if it's a friend who I just met. I don't want it to be totally raw kale because it kind of, some people can be like, I don't know, it's very vegan hippie, it's vegan. Ooh. So this is my secret. So now that my kale's in the bowl and the leftover rice I already had is on there, here's the secret. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my freshly cooked rice, and this can also be fresh hot rice from the stove. Mine just doesn't happen to be done yet. But this is hot straight off the microwave. And so what I'm going to do is take the hot rice, and put it right on top of the kale, like so. And you can see it's steaming really nice. And I'm going to mix it together, kind of really get it in there together. And now, so you can see it's kind of mixed just a little bit. And now I am going, where is my top? I really need to get another one of these. I'm going to put my top on it like this, and it's just going to steam. And so what it's going to do is it's going to steam in here. So it just steams in here. You can see it's already starting to steam up. And what it does is it does like this half cook. It's like a half cook where it's a little softer, but it's not quite steamed. And it creates this perfect texture for a salad. It's like such the perfect texture. It's just this nice, lighter, little softer, but still green. And actually, one of the nice things is it makes it really bright green, really vibrant, and vibrant colors attract people. So big secret of the day, guys. It makes a huge difference. Do this with all your grain and kale salads. So my black rice, let me back over here. My black rice, I believe is done. I'm going to check on it really quick. Yeah, it's done. So same thing. I'm just going to put it right on top here. Oh, actually, I need to measure it. Mateus, why are you always right there? Let me see. How many? 1.5 cups. So same thing. So same. See, look at the black rice. Isn't the black rice gorgeous? It's so beautiful. It's almost purple. And so this is sort of the same thing. I'm just going to mix it around in here like so. Really kind of get that going. And you can already see that it's turning my kale a brighter green. You see how much like brighter green it is? Look at this. See? I don't know. Maybe I have to look at you guys. So you can see it's already turning a much brighter green. See, look how bright that is right there. It's super bright. And so, like I said, just a quick mix around. It's already turning a very beautiful, look at, I mean, it's already so gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous that is. And like I said, the brighter the color, the more excited it makes people. And I really do love, like, isn't it cool with the 2 different colors rice? So cool. Okay. So I'm just going to cover this back up and let it do its thing while I get ready, while I do the rest. While all the other chopping and stuff is going to go on, this is just going to sit over there and steam and do its thing. Okay, so the rest of the recipe. Come on back over here. I have my mini helper here yet again, who's going to help me with my parsnip. A carrot works too. I really like parsnips this time of year. I think you guys are about to see Scott here in the background in a second. Yep, there he goes. Nope, not done yet. Oh my God, I love this smell of parsnip. Nice and small, nice and small. Just add that in. Alrighty. Get the rest of my parsnip going. If you have a big food processor, you could do like a shredded, sort of like a shredded carrot, which is really nice. I like it really small, but you know, you can even chop this bigger. It's all about kind of like what you like. There have been times I've roasted my parsnips first and put them in this salad. You know, it's kind of sort of what you're feeling, how much time you have. Ends up looking a little bit like the rice, you know? It's a very similar sort of shape and consistency, which creates a nice mouthfeel. So I'm going to add these too. And the nice thing about adding that to my steaming bowl is it's going to soften the parsnips a little too now. See, very smart. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. I do have my can of beans. The recipe calls for chickpeas, but since my husband's going to the party tonight and he can't have chickpeas, I'm substituting white beans. White beans and chickpeas are pretty much always interchangeable, so that's a little hack for you there. Let's see, what else do I need? Oh, so I have my green onions. All right. So someone asked how I chop so fast. And one is, it's a lot of practice, but also I have very sharp knives. And 2 things about that is, one, I buy good knives. I have a couple, but I buy good knives and I take very good care of them, which means they never go in the dishwasher. They always get washed by hand and dried. And I take them to get professionally sharpened twice a year. And I have a sharpener at home that I do in between them. If you're not comfortable sharpening your knives, you can always just take them. There's a knife sharpener at my farmer's market, but there's also a whole bunch of them in the yellow pages, including people who will come to your house and sharpen them for you right there. But for me, like I said, twice a year I sharpen them professionally, and then I do it in between those sharpens at home. I cook every day. I chop like crazy every day. So for me, it's a lot of maintenance. If you don't cook as much as I do, maybe you don't need to do it as much, but a sharp knife is the secret. It's also how you protect your fingers, because when I did not have a sharp knife, that's how I ended up having to get stitches. So for me, sharp knives are definitely a priority. And a good one at that. All right. And I'm just chopping all of my green onions at once because I don't have time to do one at a time. Not today. And the same thing, I'm just going to put these all, actually I'll bring my bowl on over now. We can check in on it, see how it's doing. And so I'm just using my hands to mix this all together. And it's like, oh my gosh, like look at this kale. Isn't this gorgeous? Look, it's so much softer already, and it's really beautiful. And if you ever decide it's getting too soft, just leave the top off and it won't do it as much. All right, so mixing all that. Look at this feels really nice to touch. I have to admit, this feels super nice to touch. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to get my green onions on board. And then I'm going to wash my hands because now my hands are covered in everything. So top goes back on. Okay. Hi, pugs. All the pugs are here today. Alrighty. I tried to entice them to go outside, but they were just not interested. Can you see them? I know, there they are. I know Facebook can see them. There's Mateus and Quaid, Lily Beans behind me. Anyway, it's a party in this kitchen all the time. On to my apple. So, I have an apple, yes. Oh, I forgot my celery. Knew I was going to forget something. Okay, so my apples first. It's so hard not to eat all this stuff as I'm making it because it's all my favorite foods. I've also done this with a pear. I was once catering a party and the person was allergic to apples, so I did a pear in this recipe and it came out really, really well. I also did it with a tangerine once, which also was a lot of fun. I'm using an orange today, which is the normal recipe. I tried this with a green apple and I didn't care for it, but I think I just don't care for green apples, so... But I think yellow would also be fine. I just like the red because it's very Christmas color oriented with the kale. And this is such a healthy salad too. I always feel so good when I bring it. All right, getting all my apples. Apple. And I'm doing small pieces because, you know, again, this is a salad and people are going to be eating it walking around a party, so I don't want it to be like these huge chunks that are really difficult for them. If you're worried about your apple getting brown before your party or you're going to make this a few days ahead, you can always put the apple in the day before. You don't have to do it ahead. You can add the apple last if you're worried about it browning. But because I'm going to add orange juice, that acid usually keeps it from browning. But again, if you're worried about it, just add the apple at the last minute. Not a big deal. Let's see, I don't want to leave any apple behind, so I'm going to really get this close to the core. It's yummy, healthy. There we go. Okay, there's my apple. And I'm not adding my apple in because I don't want my apple to steam. So let's see what else do I need. I need my celery. And the nice thing is these things, the celery little flower things, I find they're a really beautiful garnish for on top of the salad. So that's something that you can think about. Another hack, I use these little, the tops of celery for garnish all the time. It's like my go-to garnish because I always have celery in my fridge. And then I know, you know, I have a garnish in there. Green onions is probably my other go-to. And with celery, what I do is I cut little sticks, and then once I have the little sticks, I come through again to make a really small dice. And this is the same as my apple. I don't want my celery to steam, so it's not going in the bowl. So I cut, like I said, I cut really thin sticks for my celery. And I do this with the mock tuna too, is it's sort of like I cut these like smaller sticks, basically, and then I chop again to have like the small, almost, it's a little bit bigger than a mince. But you can also put this in your mini food processor if you like to, not a problem. Especially if you like want to save a little bit of time. But I really like to chop celery. Other than mushrooms, I'd say it's second favorite after mushrooms. I'm just going to come through one more time here. And you can add more celery if you like. I just don't like my celery to be too heavy in a salad because I know some people don't like it. So if it was me at home, I would be adding a lot more celery because I really, really love celery in my salad. But I know I'm kind of alone on that sometimes. Let's see what else is left. Oh, that's about it. All I have left now is to mix it all together with the rest of basically the dressing. So I'm going to go ahead and add these guys in here. Facebook, why do you keep going to sleep? Make sure I got everything. So the recipe calls for mayonnaise. I'm using my own mayonnaise. The recipe is from happyherbivore.com. You could use store-bought mayonnaise too, not a problem. You could probably get away with yogurt. I've used hummus in a real pinch once. So there's that. If you do the hummus option, you probably don't want to add the other ingredients like the Dijon and the orange juice. And so because this orange is so gigantic, I'm just going to start with half because I don't want it to be too juicy. So I'm just going to start with half. And my juicer that I love is too small for this big orange, so I'm going to use my hands. And really get in there, really kind of like, you know, oh, I just got mayonnaise all over the back of my hand. Get in there, in there, in there, in there. And I actually end up pulling the pulp from the orange and adding it into the salad. And what I'm going to do too is I will end up zesting this as much as I want. Depends on how orangey the salad comes out with the juice originally. But I will add some zest to really add some liveliness. So really getting that orange in there. Glad it's not a lemon because I have a paper cut. That would be miserable. All right, so a quick view of what it looks like. So here it is before oh, it was so pretty and then it flipped over. You didn't get to see it, Facebook, but you can kind of still see it. Look how pretty it is already. It's so pretty. It's very Christmassy, right? Like, yeah, very Christmassy. So now using my hands, I'm just working it all together. And the great thing about this part is I can really sort of mix it and make sure everything's well covered. And I feel like I'm doing something, which is always a nice thing. Always feels like I'm really cooking since I cheated a lot with my microwave. And also, this can give you a chance to break down the kale a little bit more if you want it softer. You're basically massaging all the dressing into it. Oh my God, this smells so good. Here we are. And that's it. I am done. The only thing left for me is to add my beans, which I'm going to do before we go. How to help you with that. Oh, thanks, Alexa. I don't think you can help me with that either. All I have left to do is add my beans, which I'm going to add before the party. And there's my salad. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's a ton. You can see how big this bowl is. So this is going to be a really nice offering. It's beautiful. I can add some cranberries or raisins to it too, which I might do. Sometimes I do that for a little extra. Sometimes I'll add pecans or walnuts. But it's a really great, like I said, it's a really great recipe. And if you need more dressing, it's easy enough because you just add more of the Dijon or the mayo or the orange. Anyway, this is the winter kale salad from the December 6th meal plan. Oh gosh, Facebook, I don't think I can come back up and say hi. Here we are. So winter kale salad, December 6th meal plan, which is the current meal plan, which also has pressure cooker recipes. This whole month we're going to have pressure cooker recipes. The salad you can make in the pressure cooker, but there are other recipes that you can. You can do the rice in the pressure cooker for sure. But yeah, so it was my beautiful salad. I'm so excited to serve this tonight. I'm so, but like, look, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so pretty. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having a really great Saturday. I'm super excited to bring this to the party tonight. I will report how it goes, but I know it's going to go great. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to everybody soon. Okay. Oh, I'm not touching my laptop with my hands. Pugs are everywhere. Okay.